Now, let's do this right. Okay? Let's ensure that we are doing this right because I think, like my Wi Fi, this is going to be a great live. Let's start it that way. This is going to be a great live. Um, and I'm also streaming on the other long form platform, Motivation and Donuts. Motivation and Donuts. I like my donuts. I was just remembering something. I'll send it as soon as I get off here. I'm coming on earlier because I like my midday crowd. And we'll just see because typically whenever I come on, my hopefuls rush into the room. Sometimes it takes a moment for it to show, but I do remember while I'm talking, it makes me remember when I first started going live. And this is because since Kai Cenat's Streamer University, this this influx of I want to stream, I want to stream, I want to be a streamer. And which is cool. I think whatever you want to do, you should do it. Going live, it could be on here, it could be on any other app, is a skill. And I had saw because when after Streamers University, I had what's up retired FTO. Look at that. I scrolled past one of your lives, but you're on live like daily. You're daily on live, and as soon as you come in, double tap on the screen and share, either if you're feeling strong and just able, I would like a lock in the chat. And if you feel that you are the key to unlocking your dreams, put a key in the chat. So, Streamers University, Agent 00 had some great information. All of the information was great. But because of Streamers University, there's people who had said, oh, I have to become a streamer. I want to become a streamer. And I remember when I decided to start going live. And I started going live first on the short form on TikTok. Hope is Speaking TikTok. As soon as I hit like 1,000 followers, you can go live. Now, anyone who wants to go live or who wants to stream, I'm sharing this because the views for my lives have been weird. So they've been at 0 or 1 when they're typically in the hundreds, or at least high twos, 80, 70 people in a room, sometimes over 200. When you see that 0 or that 1 person, that is a million people. Like the thought of I'll only show up if I have 10 people or 20 people or 1,000 people. The fact is, 1 person, thank you, I see that. 1 person is enough. If 1 person decides to, what's up, Lady Africa? If 1 person decides to listen to you, that is the equivalent of the million people listening to you. And I'm saying this because a lot of times it's like if you're a singer or you start off doing something and you go to a festival or you're performing at a community event. And thank you, Lady Africa, for liking the live and sharing the live on TikTok. Thank you. and you see the crowd and you see that there's so many waves of people, you feel like you are Beyonce in the stadium. But then you open your eyes, and in your current space, you only see one person in the crowd or no one in the crowd, or people walking away as you're performing or speaking. That is what's building you into the person or the people or the thing or the gift that gets you to all of that, the stadium full, the live that has 1,000, 2,000, 20,000, 100,000 people streaming to that many people. But the point is, if you even, there's levels. There's so many people that would want to stream and they'll just stick with wanting it. They're not actually going to download the app, turn it on, stream, see how they feel. They'll just sit with the thought of, I want to do this, and that's good enough. But then there will be someone who will say, I want to do this and I'm going to do it. And that has a step. There's the person that wants to do it, but they don't act on it. There's the person that wants to do it and they want to do it and then they act on it. So they'll buy the software, they'll buy the brand new microphone, they'll buy the headphones, they'll buy the new streamer's chair, they'll buy all of the things, but then they won't take the next step to actually turn on the computer and talk. So there's going to take another level of courage, and all of these are levels of courage. Some may feel like it's not that much. Like, I don't feel that this takes that much courage, but I'm also comfortable at talking. And I know that the uncomfortable part, the feeling of what you want and not being in that reality, how that can feel. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take that discomfort to become great. So the streamer who wants to do it, but they don't act on it. Then there's the streamer who wants to do it, and so they get past wanting to do it, and they get past acting on it. They buy all their equipment, and then they get past the act of doing it. Thank you for continuing to like the live, Lady Africa. So that's already 4 steps. Just the idea, I want to do this. The second idea, I'm taking the steps, I'm buying the equipment. The third idea, I'm actually acting on it. I'm turning on the computer, I'm talking. Then the fourth step of repetitive. Yeah, and well, Lady Africa, here, sometimes you won't. Sometimes your support is you, and I'm responding to Lady Africa, who always comes into my lives. Thank you. I see your content, it comes across my screen, and you have exceptional style, may I just say. You are just an exceptional woman, and I attract that because that's what I am. I'm well-styled, beautifully decorated, love my body, love myself, love the people who I love with pleasure. So you are really beautiful. And I love a woman with a bald head. I have been that. There's a courage that it takes to do that, but the beauty that just radiates, because I have said, I always feel beautiful, but I feel so incredibly beautiful with my bald head. Like, it's so powerful because it just highlights your beautiful face, your beautiful features, your beautiful head, and especially swimming in the ocean and having the salt water on my crown and the sun on my crown. Like, a bald head is like such a magically powerful place. Yeah, I am not my hair, and I love the art of hair. I mean, I am not my hair, but maybe I am. I don't know. I don't, my hair is just beautiful, whether it's on my head or in the hair follicle. But what you said is to have support. Sometimes you won't. Sometimes you are the only support that, yeah, I believe that too. Hair always grows back. So I'm never opposed to dyeing my hair, to cutting my hair, to doing anything because I have great hair. And I also, here's another thing coming on camera, because I have modeled, I have done a lot of things in front and behind the camera. My confidence is to a point where, especially in content creation, you got to get back. Confidence shows in how you show up. You will see me live or in my content with makeup or without makeup. Same thing with my hair. Because especially with creating content, you may just have some idea but not feel camera ready, not feel that your hair is done. I will go on camera as soon as I have the thought. And thank you for the gift. Thank you for the big shout out. Woo! That was the gift I requested. Thank you, Lady Africa, for sending the big shout out. I appreciate that. That is my live goal gift for the day, the big shout out. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Sometimes the only support you will have is yourself. It's great to have support. It's helpful, but it's not always. Actually, the lack of support forces you to be your own support. Because there are times where we're not supported. There are times where that lack of support shows us actually how strong and resilient we really are. There are times that support is in different ways, but support can just be thought of in the space of like people encouraging you. Sometimes your belief in what you're trying to do or build is the support. Support can be internal and external. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you for liking the live. Support is helpful though. I will say support is really helpful. And what's up, what's up, what's up, Lady T? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lady T is in the building. Lady T and Lady Africa. I have all the ladies in my live. Thank you. You always show up. You always send a gift. You engage. And I appreciate you. What's up, Lady T? Hey, chat. Yeah, Lady Africa is in the chat. And I don't know what's happening because there's, as I said, continue to like the live and share the live because the numbers have just been different the past 2 days. And I don't know. It will get pushed out. It's working itself out. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Lady T. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, support. It's great if you have support in anything you do. If you're building a house, building a family, building a business, building yourself, just starting anything. The expectancy is people who love you or family or friends will support you. The reality is sometimes. And here's the other thing. I don't care if someone doesn't support me, I don't bookmark it in my mind. Like, I remember when you didn't support me. A lot of people don't even like themselves. They don't support themselves. So I actually see a space of compassion, but to build anything is really difficult and hard. For me to focus on who's not supporting me, who's not encouraging me, who didn't, I don't have time for that. My time and energy is put into me or what I'm doing. It's not that I expect people to not be for it, but I'm amazing. If I'm amazing, and every time someone sees me doing something, it's building something, it's getting back up after falling down, it's just incredible things, and I'm always in a positive space, I'm always in a positive space, which means I'm doing the work on me. That will bring out people's demons. Most people cannot find a neutral space if they're going through it, which I understand as well, but that's the only thing you can do. Life is full of BS. It is my choice to make it a good day. It is my choice. And I've said this. I had that a day where I was evicted, where like my car wasn't working. I was biking it everywhere. Today's still a great day. I don't care that that happened. Sure, it happened, but now I'm gonna go hang out and make something beautiful to eat. Like the people are working with me. They know that this is something that just happened. Like life happens. Sometimes you can't pay the bill. I've always been able to pay. And if I was not able to, then oh well. Me staying up and saying, I can't pay this bill, I wish I could pay, that doesn't pay the bill. That doesn't do anything. It will get paid. Like, as I've said this in the past few lives. I'm a human worthy of human respect regardless of money. And in this country, a lot of the thought is if you have no money, you're not worthy of respect. You're not worthy of an education. You're not worthy of a good life. No, I'm a human. I'm worthy of human treatment regardless of money. Money is useful, but it's not reflective of my character. It's just a tool. It's not reflective of anything, actually. Someone can have a lot of money because someone died and gave it to them. It doesn't mean that someone worked hard. It doesn't mean that they're smarter. It doesn't mean that they know something that you don't know. It doesn't mean they have a good moral compass. It doesn't mean that they have a bad moral compass. It just means they have money. That's it. But a lot of times the thought is if someone has this much, 100 million, they're like horrible people. Well, why is that the automatic thought? And if that is true, then maybe that would be preventing you from acquiring wealth because internally you already have this story about how a wealthy person is, financially wealthy. But yeah, life is lifing. That's my challenge. You will never know what I'm going through because I can always find something. I can always find something. And I had this conversation because I took a walk with two of my friends. Thank you, Lady Africa, for continuing to like the live. And as we were walking, we were nearing an intersection. And as we neared that intersection, a cat tried to cross the road and was hit really hard by a car. And it was quite jarring. It was quite jarring and somewhat uncomfortable. There's been a few times, I do witness a lot of loss of life. I have in both animals. Well, not a lot, but either way, I'm sharing this because when that happened, my friend was really, really uncomfortable after she saw that. After she heard the car hit the cat, she felt really uncomfortable seeing that. And I did too, but I thought the cat got back up. Like I've really trained my mind to make something beneficial. It may not have to be positive, but it's beneficial. Seeing this animal get hit and I thought, yeah, that's bad, and it still got up. Like there's so many times where just get up. I'm not gonna lay down. I'm not gonna give up. This isn't it. This isn't it. And I was able to see that. But then, as I was talking to my friend, we were talking about, I was saying just the fragility of life. Um, because that's how quickly it goes. I don't know what's happening on my TikTok live, but I'm going to just restart it. So maybe the numbers will change. So I'm coming right back. I'm just going to restart it. Okay, I'm back. I said I was going to stop and restart. And I was talking about the cat and how the cat got back up. And that's all you have to do, really, is to get back up. So many times, all it takes is for you to get back up. You don't have to stay down. And I remember someone told me, like, Hope, you don't stay down long. You bounce up really quickly. And that's the secret. Being able to, like, not dwell on some of the things that may have shown up in your life to teach you something. Not to dwell on it, but I can reflect, I can learn, but all right, I'm going to keep going. It's time to keep going. There's a point of ending, and there is no failure. And there is no failure because I've attempted so many things. And I value that and I treasure that about me, that I attempt, that I try, that I dream, that I aspire, compared to just thinking about it and saying, well, that wouldn't work. No, absolutely not. If I thought it, I probably want it. And if I want it, I believe I can have it. And if I believe I can have it, I'm just going to start working towards it. And hold on. Yeah, so if I believe it, I'm going to go after it. But sometimes things you start, you just don't end up wanting to do them. And I remember someone said, well, Hope, I try a lot of things. People say, you know, I'm always trying something new. That's a great thing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for liking the live. That's a great thing to try a lot of things. That's a good thing. When you try a lot of things, eventually what you try will stick. And there will be something that you won't want to give up on, something that you'll want to build, something that you'll want to get better at. And to know that, like, If there's no failure, why not try? Because the biggest part of trying something is not believing that you will be successful at it. Like, the fear of not being successful at something will hold the average person back from even seeing if that fear is true. The fear of, I don't know if it will work out. The fear of, what happens if it doesn't work out? What does that say about me? The fear of, if it does work out, what does that say about me? Like the fear of what happens. I don't know what happens. I can't predict, you can predict what will happen by just doing it. But what I mean is, if a person says, I will not try this because, thank you, yes, welcome back. I am afraid of what may happen. That's just a fear of not knowing what will happen. And that's with anything. There's always going to be a bit of a resistance from something that you don't know what's on the other side. Thank you, thank you, thank you for liking and sharing the live. But even if you don't know what's going to happen, there's two things. You don't have to predict. You can just make the thing that you want to happen, happen. Thank you, Keith Breeze. So when I say the fear of what will happen if I try this thing, I'm afraid because I don't know what will happen. I don't know if it will be successful. I don't know if I'll fail. That's truly just, I don't know what's on the other side. And you can choose to say, well, I'll create what's on the other side. I'll create the success by doing X, Y, and Z. If it's writing a book, I fear writing a book. Well, I still am going to write it, and then I will see what happens on the other side after I write it. You just go through with that thing that you're fearing. Because after you've done it, the fear is gone. You've already wrote the book. Now publishing it or keeping it in your own book case, but you've done that thing. So fear is really, I don't know what's on the other side. I want this, but I don't know. And that's also normal. But your belief can just say, well, this is what's going to happen on the other side of this. This is the outcome. This is what's going to happen because I'm going to show up daily, because I'm going to put the reps in, I'm going to put the work in, I'm going to practice, I'm going to see myself as that. So there is no need to predict, because every action is already leading to the outcome you want. A lot of times, if you're not doing what you need to do to have the outcome, that's where you will feel uncomfortable, because you even know, how am I going to get that outcome when I'm not even taking the steps? Now, seeing it is one thing, having the vision, believing in your vision, and acting on the vision. It's not one of the three. You have to see it. You have to know it. I saw today that I was going to come on and talk. And I saw this earlier today. So everything led me to this day, but there was no fear in, I'm not going to go live today. Because I was already doing all the steps. I set aside the time, I set up my phone, I turned it on, I went live, I got my message out, and that was the goal. If I said I'm going to come on live and I didn't, for several weeks, then there may be some fear, as in, how am I going to accomplish this goal when I haven't been showing up? So fear, it's always there. What's up, Nia? Fear is always there. It's your body protecting itself. Your brain is protecting you from something it's unaware of. Now, you can just predict that outcome by taking the steps. So if it's planting a garden, instead of fearing, my plants are going to die, I don't know how I don't know how to garden, I don't know what to do, I don't know fertilizer. You just went and simply bought some flowers, dug in the soil, planted the flowers, added water, and walked away. Just from planting flowers. Thank you for the heart, Nia, for watering your flowers. For doing that, you've unlocked your fear, because you've already started a garden. Now, it's not acres, it's not corn and all these things, but you did the small thing that will lead to the big thing. And a lot of times, the big goal will happen. It's like I see all the clips from the Cowboy Carter tour and how beautifully Beyonce always performs in the rain in a packed stadium. And people are dumb because they say she's a true professional because look at, of course she is. But it took 30 years to become that. And what is often not seen is what it takes to become that. If you've been at a craft since you were, let's say, 12 years old, and you've been daily, actively honing that craft, first of all, if you hone that craft for a year, that's one thing. 5 years is a great thing. 10 years, usually unthinkable. 20 years, you're unstoppable, because if you're honing a skill over 20 years, you will do it 10 more years. You will get to the 30-year and 40-year mark. By that time, you are going to be the best, because most people are never going to put in that much work to be the best. Most people underestimate how much they can do in 10 years and overestimate how much they can do in 1 year. Everything is long game, especially life. It's all a long game. But if you do not want it bad enough where you say, yeah, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I will be the best. I will sharpen my sword every day for 30 years. Will I take time off? Maybe. May I lose passion? Maybe. Will it be hard? Will it be confusing? Maybe. But I'm still going to do it because I deserve to be the best. I want to be the best. I want to be studied. I want to be the epitome of that thing. Most people are not going to say yes to that. I don't want to put in 1 year, let alone 6 months of work. The most someone, and you can see this in, like, let's say education, but education doesn't really denote a person's character. Let me just say that. But a 4-year degree is often the max amount of time that a person is going to dedicate to knowledge outside of their life. Like, I went to school for 4 years. That's about it. That is a sustained long-term goal. And especially college is somewhat glorified. So more people are going to say yes to that than, I don't know, I want to paint pottery, and so I'm just going to dedicate myself to pottery for the rest of my life. Dedicating yourself to anything is one thing, but the time that you take to dedicating really talks about your greatness. And your greatness is also like, do you even want to dedicate yourself to anything? Because when I say most people aren't dedicating themselves to anything, they're dedicating themselves to most of the time a church or a religion that doesn't serve them, but it's what they were taught to do. So I just got to do it. I just got to go, even though it doesn't align with me. I don't really understand it. I'm not, but I'm just going to go because this is what I do. Right. So I'm dedicated to my religion. I'm dedicated to the job because it pays me money. Of course, I hate it, but I can't live without it. So that's not dedication. This is almost like I'm chained to this thing. But I'm dedicated because it pays my bills. I'm dedicated to this way of thought because it keeps me safe. And people like this are bad, and people like this are good, and that never changes. There's never a circumstance that wouldn't be true. That's just what it is. I'm dedicated to that. That is it. What are you dedicated to? Are you dedicated to personal development? Are you dedicated to reading? Are you dedicated to learning an instrument? Even a hobby. That takes a concentrated, dedicated effort. It also is a place to have fun. Like when I'm a part of Toastmasters, I was a part of Alliance Française in New York City, actually in a few different places. It's like a French thing. There's dedications simply for fun. And that doesn't mean like going out to a bar, because let's kick that out of here. It's not, the fun isn't going to a bar or drinking. And I've already done that too, so I don't find that fun. But dedication, I'm dedicated to changing myself. I'm dedicated to this workout and changing my body. I'm dedicated to this new skill that is going to create income. I'm dedicated to knowing that what I'm doing is working. I'm dedicated to filling my body with nutrition that feeds my soul and heals my body. I'm dedicated. Dedicated means you are consciously, intentionally aware of that task. Let me hydrate. I love being outside. I love being outside. I mean, what else would you want to do outside of going outside? It's so lovely. Unless it's snowy and cold, and that can be cool too, but like, not really. Not for a long time. I just look better in the sun. I feel better in the sun. I feel my best with like a bikini top and vintage Levi's cutoff shorts, golden skin, smelling of slight coconut. That is the best. And even when I lived in places that weren't warm, I would always jet off to places that were warm. I want to tell this donut story, but it's such a good story. It's such a good story. I'm kind of waiting on telling it. So I talked about dedication. What else? Where is everybody at in the room? Continue to like and share the live, because I don't know what's... Oh, you know what? I believed I had shared about how my phones were taken while I was in Tahiti. I went to Tahiti in January, and right before I left to Tahiti, the motherboard on my MacBook Pro like burnt out, and all of my passwords were there. I do not remember my iCloud password. Everything was related back to like that computer and that account in some way. And I had a lot of important things on that computer. So when that burnt out, I said, okay, that's cool. I have my phone, and I have two phones. You have like your trap phone. It may not call, but it works in Wi-Fi. I would take my photos on there. I would like email. So I had my phone and my trap phone. And while I was in Tahiti, we were going to have this day outside, like the whole day, because living on an island is amazing until I've gone to other islands and saw like, oh, this is real islandy. Like this is a really small island. Maui is still a big island. It's the second largest island after the Big Island, in the Hawaiian Islands chain. But full-time residents, because there's a lot of people that split their time between Hawaii and their main home somewhere else. So full-time residents, people that are there full-time, there's 160,000 full-time residents. Now, then there's part-time residents, there's people that come there just to work. I mean, there's other parts of the population. So in saying that, I'll go to an island that has like 1,200 people. And when I went to Santa Teresa, Costa Rica, that's what it was. I love Costa Rica. I love Costa Rica. I do. It reminds me of Maui. It has that same energy. And Santa Teresa I liked. It's a little busier, but I liked it. I much prefer Malpais. However, anywhere that I go and I think, oh, I could move here, I really start to already get into that notion of like, what would it be like to live here? Because I've done it several times. And someone told me, yeah, there's 1,200 people that live here. And I thought, I've never been somewhere that small. I've never lived somewhere that small. In fact, I've only lived in really big cities. What's up, Barna? Thank you for joining the live, like and share. Thank you, thank you. I've only lived in large cities, like cities with 1,000,000+ people. London has, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 million. There's a lot of people. New York has a lot of people. DC has a lot. Maui purposely doesn't, but it's very, I do like, and I've talked about this. Hey. Because there is a side of the island that's very touristy, I will go to like feel that and talk to people. And like, it just reminds me of times flying as a flight attendant. And I'll meet people on the beach and tell them to the beaches to go to and where to hike. And speaking of that, with flight attendants, I saw that United unveiled their new uniforms. They have all new uniforms. And it was like, whoa, the closing of a chapter, because that was the last uniform I um, wore with United. And now those uniforms no longer are in circulation. So it's like the closing of a cycle. And the new uniforms at United are so chic. They're so cute. And I was thinking, ooh, that would look so nice on me. And I've talked about this. I love flying. I love traveling. I loved my time as a flight attendant. I am the best flight attendant in the world. I have the best stories. I have the best career. I have the most patience, the best ways to come up with solutions. I am just the best. And to truly listen to your body, your heart, your soul, your mind, and say, I want something different, is okay. That is okay. And not a lot of people really just walk away from flying, especially if you've been flying for a long time. You can like drop all your trips and still keep your benefits. Like it's really unique, especially once you have time in with the company. And I knew that. And I also knew if I did not leave United, I wouldn't give it my all. Like the next thing that I did, I wouldn't give it everything, because I could always fall back on United. Like, oh, well, it didn't work out, or it's not working out, or maybe it's not made to work out. I can always go back to flying. That is truly why I stepped away completely. And I was ready. I had been ready like 2 years prior to leaving. 15 years at any company is really unheard of today. But it was like, it's a big part of me. Like, I love United. It's a great company. I have nothing bad to say. And I have nothing bad to say because everything that could have happened to me. I got in trouble. Well, it's not that I got in trouble, but I cut it close. I used to cut it close all the time. I had, when my father had a stroke, my sister called me when they were in the ambulance going to the hospital, like, hey, Dad had a stroke. Can you come back? And I was in LA. We were about to close the door to fly to Denver. And they closed the door, and I was like, shoot, I can't get off now. And we worked to Denver. I had told everyone what had happened, and I immediately, I think, contacted a supervisor. Like, hey, this is what's happened. I'm in Denver. My father had a stroke. I need to go home. I'm coming off this trip. And they took me off the trip. They helped me get a flight. They looked for rental cars. Like, I had that happen. I had the time. I told my friend, okay, all right, trigger warning. Trigger warning. Because there's animals and people getting hit by vehicles in the next story. So I shared earlier in the live, and thank you for liking the live. Let's get these likes up. Continue to like the live and share the live. As we were on our walk last night, I saw a scene of a cat being injured by a car. And my friend was really uncomfortable with it. And she was like, the sound, and it was just in shock. The cat was in shock. I was like, I know. I've been the cat. I've had that happen. I was able to shift it into this. We saw this cat get hit by a car. And my friend was so shook up because the car was going fast, and you heard it. You heard like like it was a loud sound. And my friend said, you know, the sound was so loud. The sound, it was like, it was just like a little off. I said, yeah, but it would be, it's heavy. Like I made that sound when I got hit. But it's a shock. It's a shock. So yeah, we were talking about how the cat was hit, and I said, I've been the cat. I was on a layover in Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina. And Argentina is one of the largest wool exporters. And I would go and buy wool in Buenos Aires. So on that layover, because it's like a 4-day trip, it was a 4-day trip. We laid over near kind of downtown in a very nice area in Buenos Aires. I remember our hotel rooms, they were huge. We had this huge walk-in closet. Like it was a proper, almost 1,000 square feet hotel room. And this is in Buenos Aires. So we would check in and usually go right out. I think we would land in the morning. We would land in the morning, get to the hotel, shower, and then go right out to get media lunas or pastries, fresh orange juice, bring it back to the hotel, and then go to sleep to wake up to shop or go to dinner. Because if you're in Buenos Aires, everyone goes to dinner. You have to have an amazing steak and amazing wine because, you know, you're in Argentina. Of course, that's what's going to happen. So I did just that. And because I knit, you can get the most incredible knits. You can get the most incredible yarn in Argentina. And cashmere, like good yarn is an investment. You can buy yarn for $70 a ball, like cashmere yarn, and you may need 10 of them. You may need 20 of them. But in Argentina, because of the exchange with the US dollar, it was like something crazy. I don't know. It might have been 12 to 1 or 14 to 1. So one US dollar would be equal to 14 or 12 of theirs. So things, if you were using the American dollar, were inexpensive. And so I would go to the knitting district in Buenos Aires. There's a knitting district, and you know that you've reached this place because around the trees, people have like knit like sweaters around the tree trunks, and it's really cool. It's this hip downtown area. There's nothing but yarn shops and knitting lessons, because in Argentina, knitting is a art. Your granny teaches you, your mom teaches you how to knit. So it's a cultural thing. There's just knitting cafes where people go and knit. So I would go there in Buenos Aires and buy all my yarn. And since I would buy so much yarn, the owners of the shop wanted me to be like a buyer, because for them, I was spending the equivalent of like 10,000 of their dollars. If I spent like 100 US, yeah, it would be 10 times that. So that was a large purchase, even though it might have been equivalent of 100 US for me. And I would do that often on my trips. So the owners of the shops knew me because, as I said, this is my time as a flight attendant. I loved flying to Buenos Aires, Argentina. I love everywhere, but I liked South America for this, and the Media Lunas. The Media Lunas are amazing. Everything, the orange juice is amazing, the architecture. So this layover, I went and got yarn. And after I bought the yarn, I went into the pastry shop and got some things. Hold on. I'm gonna have to say, I just saw, because I always just keep filling up my water canteen, but it looks like there's mold in here, so I'm going to have to not do that again. Uh, wow. I did not know that. That is unfortunate. I don't know what's going on with. Okay. Now I actually have to. I will come back and finish this story, but I have somewhere to be and I have a Zoom call to come on to. So unfortunately, I'll have to come back. So follow me on here, turn on your notifications, because if you don't, you won't know when I come on, because I just come on. I don't have a scheduled time. So I will be back later today to finish this story, but I just saw the time and there's money to be made. So I will see you later. Bye bye.